We're going to talk today about color and consistency. Consistency is key to content creation, and one of the ways that you can stay consistent is constantly showing up the same way so that people recognize your stuff when they see it. When you see a white truck with orange and blue letters, you know that a FedEx package is coming, right? Similar to that, we're going to show you how to make it easy to get to the colors that you use when you do your content creation, so you don't have to hunt all over the place and look in the whole Mac thing and pick a couple of crayons. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to get it. I'm going to show you how to get there easy. Today, I'm going to be doing this in Ecamm, but what we're adjusting is something known as the color picker in your Mac system. If you're a Mac user, this is found in many Mac programs: TextEdit, Keynote, Pages, Numbers, Ecamm. Today we're going to use Ecamm, but there's a lot of programs that use this. If it doesn't, it's probably a more graphic-oriented program, and there's much better ways to maintain this. But I'm going to show you even then how to get down with the get down. So let's dive in. First, we're going to look at the color picker inside Ecamm. One of the easy ways to get to this is if you're developing text that you're going to show on screen, you're going to come over here and there's a little button that says text color. You would press that and that brings up the color picker. Now we're going to come over to the color picker, and what most people do is pick something out of this here crayon box like we back in Mr. Stevens' first grade class, and we're not about that life. One of the people in the community today asked the question, how do I add hex colors to this situation here in the Mac? And I think people are used to seeing the wheel where you kind of scrub all over the place and you find your colors and adjust your opacity. I think people are used to looking at the crayons. Most people ignore these three palettes across the top. Well, on the second palette, which is the RGB sliders, this is where you could put in your color. The problem is on the Mac OS, when you first go here, you're going to see grayscale and you don't see any place where you might put in a color. However, if you click on this thing right here and come down to RGB sliders, you'll see here is your possibility to get colors. Now, where does one get said colors? I'll show you my spot. My spot is an application known as, well, Colors. It's Coolors. They try to get cute. Collors. And this is where I get my colors. What's really cool is you can come in here and you can explore trending palettes, and it's going to load a bunch of stuff that's kind of popping off around the web. And you can see that, or you can load an image. You can look from there. I have a bunch of palettes already set up because, well, this is an application I use all the time. So today what we're going to do is, as it loads my dashboard, is I'm going to load my Creators Unstuck palette into the Mac system so that I can load that again next time we get in. One of my favorite features about colors is that once I'm ready to load my colors, all I need to do is click on any one of these swatches and it copies it to the clipboard. I use a clipboard manager, so I'm going to go ahead and copy all of these at one time. What a clipboard manager does is just stores your previous clipboard copies into a history that you can recover. So we're going to slip back over to Ecamm real quick. Once I get back here from colors, all I need to do is to paste in that value, hit the tab key, and now it is add that color to the palette. But I want to go and create a palette to stick that in. So instead of web safe colors, I'm going to go to my Creators Unstuck palette, which I already have. Let me delete this palette. We're going to start all over. Actually, I'll just make a new one. I'll click on new, and then I'm going to take it from unnamed, right? I'm going to click on the little three dots again and say rename, and I'm going to just call this CU2. And then there is my blue color. You can click on the blue color and you can name it. And then now let's go grab the second one. So if I come back over to here and then load my color from my clipboard, I'll go ahead and paste that in, hit the tab key, that adds it. I can come to this palette. You can always click and drag it up, right? Come back to the next one. And then let's go get that bright magenta one, pop it in there, hit that, come back to my little palette here. Then I can drag it up, and I'll go in and rename these after. I'm just getting them in position first because it's just a little faster that way. Then I want to go and grab the orange color, and then I'm going to hit the tab key first, slip back to the second icon, slap it up there. And then the last one I need to put in is the yellow. So I click back over to this, and then I'll just paste in my color from my clipboard, and that's that. Tab it over, come back to this guy, and drag it up. So now I can name this, boom, and I can name this one CU Yellow. Now what this means is whenever I need to pull this palette up, right, as I'm creating graphics in Ecamm, If you any app you go to where the color picker comes to this guy, all you need to do is click on the third icon up here in the top. It says color palettes. And then in your stack of palettes, you see all the ones you have. So I'll show you, here is Ecamm Live palette I used when I used to do the demo. Here's the actual Ecamm Live extended palette. And these colors have actual color names, so they're placed in there. I can show you my LGL palette. There's all my colors. Anybody who watches my content, you'll see those are the colors you see here the most. And there is my Creators Unstuck palette. And of course, I went ahead and made the new one, which is Creators Unstuck 2. And you can rearrange these colors any way you want. If there's some that you use more prominently than others, you can also take them while they're here. Let's start at blue. I can actually add them down to the bottom of the picker by dragging them into these little chicles over here, right? And what that means is you never have to go chasing all over to find your colors. These are at the ready. So whenever you go to create anything graphically in your computer, you can just drag these guys in and call it a day, right? Boom, there, they're all there, right? I believe you can space these guys out. So I can stick this little gray swatch in the middle. So that way mine are closer. I missed, move it over that side. And then that puts a little gap so that I can see, but it just makes this so much easier. And whenever you need to get to your colors, it literally is that simple. So once again, you click on the first guy, you paste in your hex. It's going to put it down here, which of course you can drag into the little chicle holding area, or go over to here, click on the ellipse, say new, create a brand new palette, and drag up your colors as you need it. Now, eye for eye, I kind of know that from here to here, this dark purple is my Ecamm palette. I also know that from here to this dark red is my LGL palette, and now I have this guys out here. If there's things down here that are in your way and you no longer want them, you can select on it and you can just press the delete key and make it go night-night, and then you never have to see it again. So that's some of the ways you can adjust this palette and move them around. Now, I'm going to show you one last thing that I do, and I use an application that is known as SIP. So SIP comes with Set App. You can buy it as an individual app, and that's at sipapp.io or sipapp.io. I will say doing it the regular way is like $30. In Set App, it's just part of Set App, which is something I talk about all the time. And you can find out about Set App, link in the description, but it's docrock.live/setapp. So let me show you what SIP can do for you. So here's the SIP window. And what it looks like is, again, you see I have my Ecamm Live palette. I have my LGL palette. But what's really cool about this is this color picker allows me to pick up anything from the screen. So if I was to click on this guy and bring it over to another portion of the screen, like this little blue here, and now it's added it, it's also copied that hex code into the clipboard. So one of the things that I can do with SIP is go and grab all the colors from my Creators Unstuck color palette from the colors website, simply by picking them up with this little turkey baster and grabbing them off of screen just like this. And then eventually I'll have all of them in there. You could also just import that sucker. There's a lot of different ways to get things in. I'm not going to do a deep tutorial on SIP right now because it is super awesome. And one of the things I like about SIP, though, is it gives nice color names to this palette. So this blue does not belong, so now I can delete that. But I can take this palette, click on it, right, and duplicate this sucker, right? Bingo. And then now I'm going to rename this sucker. I think I could just type here and rename it. And I'll rename this to Creators Unstuck. Bam. So now there's my palette. It's all there. So whenever I'm ready to use this, I can send this off to Designer by exporting, and I can export it as an Adobe swatch library or an Apple color list, which technically, had I done this first, I could just drag this into the Apple color picker and it's ready to go. But I wanted to show you the free way first and then the cool way second. The other thing that's really dope about this is because I have multiple machines, I can save this to cloud because I have SIP loaded on every one of my Macs, because as a designer, I'm in here all the time. But there's so many things you could do with this app. I won't dive deep into that. But that, my friends, is some shortcuts that you can take in order to make sure when you're creating content, you are always selecting the right color. Because there's nothing worse than getting your stuff printed out or looking at something, building something on the web and the colors don't quite match. Also, the more you create content, the more you're in your favorite editing program or Canva or someplace, and you're just trying to get all of this done, and it's kind of a pain in the tuchus. You could even set these palettes up in Canva, but that's a whole different video. And if you want to see that, let me know in the comment section below, and we'll see if it can get that knocked out for both Canva and Adobe Express. It's way easier in Adobe Express, by the way. I don't know who needed to hear this, but if it was you, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, press the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you never miss another one of these videos. And right about now, the algorithm's going to show you another video they think you should watch, and I agree with them.
I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet.